Welcome back to The Lost Analyst, and today we'll learn about primary and foreign keys. This is Antonio. He owns a small restaurant where he has a lot of regular customers who place orders. To keep track of these orders, Antonio starts recording everything down in a big flat table. But he realizes over time that it becomes increasingly difficult for him to manage everything on a single table. For example, there are too much repetitions. Alice's name and address appear 3 times, Bob's info appears 2 times, and that's a lot of writing and space. In database language, we call it redundant data, and it is not an efficient way to store data as it consumes a lot of unnecessary resources. Another problem is that updating data becomes a challenge. If Alice moves to a new address, now we have to find and change every row where she appears. Miss even one and your data is wrong. And finally, there can be an error while typing the data on multiple places. Someone might spell Solar Avenue as Solar Avenue later, right? Now Bob looks like 2 different people, and because of that, it might incorrectly appear that the data is for different customers. After facing these problems, Antonio decides to store the data in smart way, and he comes up with a genius idea. He thinks that splitting data logically would help him with this issue, and therefore he decides to split the chaos into 2 neat tables. First, he creates a customer table. That table only stores information about customers like their name and address. To keep things organized, he assigns a unique number to each customer and calls it customer ID. In database language, this number is called a primary key. A primary key is like your ID card. It uniquely identifies each row in a table. Now, for a column that is the primary key, it must contain these characteristics. First, it must be unique, so no duplicates allowed. And secondly, it must never be empty. Every row needs its ID. Think of it like your national ID number or passport number. It is not valid until you have a passport number or ID card number, right? It's unique to you and is used to look you up in the official systems. In the same way, a primary key helps the database find exactly the customers it's looking for without confusion. Now that the customer information is neatly stored in one table, Antonio creates another table, the orders table. This table stores detail about each order, things like the product, the price, the quantity. But here's the problem. How will the database know which order belongs to which customer? Should we copy the customer's name and address into every row in the orders table? Nope, that's messy and can cause errors. Instead, he adds a special column in the orders table called customer ID. This customer ID matches the one from the customer table, but here it's called a foreign key. It's the key that helps us establish a connection between the orders table and the customer table. Instead of repeating all the customer details again and again, we just store the customer ID in the orders table and let the foreign key do the linking. Think of it like a reference number, and hence when the order table says this order was made by customer ID 2, because of the foreign key, we are able to establish a relationship with the customer table, and it says customer ID 2 is Bob, and just like that, the database connects the dots. So, to summarize, use primary keys to uniquely identify rows and foreign keys to connect the tables. This avoids duplication, reduces errors, and keeps your data clean and efficient. And remember, separating your data into related tables is always cooler than stuffing everything into one. This brings us to the end of the video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like the content and drop a comment below to let me know what would you like to learn next. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.